Hello, and welcome to A Better Morning. I'm Heather Klein. We debate the trending topics in sports from a sports betting point of view. Let's welcome today's panel. The fantasy executive, Corey Parson. Host of Her Story in the Making and co-host of Lightning Round, Britt Flynn. Head of content of Fantasy Alarm and award-winning host on SiriusXM Fantasy Sports Radio, Howard Bender. And a special edition of our 4th of July Better Morning, our co-founder of Better Sports Network, Matt Deutsch.
Woo!
Welcome, everyone, and happy 4th of July, BSN.
Happy 4th of July, Heather. Thanks so much. I love seeing Matt Deutsch here, right? I'm like, we got that energy going here on the 4th of July. As
That's right.
To Coop cleaning out the crusties from his eyes or something.
Happy birthday, America. Here we go.
All right, let's get to it. Saquon Barkley, his holdout is looming. Do you think he holds out? And if so, what can the Giants do to get this deal done? Britt, you're up first.
So historically, holding out has not worked in a running back's favor. If he does hold out, he risks out losing on millions of dollars and potentially being tagged again next year. The sticking point appears to be just a few $1 million in his contract, and we've seen that this position is ruthless. Ezekiel Elliott, Leonard Fournette, Dalvin Cook, and Kareem Hunt are still out there in free agency, and they've been there for months. Running backs are undervalued as a whole in this league because that's just kind of how the game has transpired. And the average career for an NFL player is around 3.3 years, but for running backs, it's 2.57. It's not fair, but that's the way that it is. There's going to be some drama, and it will lead up to the final hour, but I ultimately think that Saquon signs his franchise tag and gets this deal done.
Yeah, I think Saquon Barkley will be playing on a franchise tag this year. That's basically what it's going to hold down. The Giants were in salary cap hell, for the better part of the past decade. Now they have a chance to get out of that. And here we go. So they did sign the quarterback, but he's a quarterback. Now, the issue is with Saquon Barkley, he can, pretend like he's going to hold out. But by the time we get into camp pretty deep, even more so the time we get into season, Saquon Barkley will be there. He'll play on the franchise tag. Le'Veon Bell already showed us how foolish it is to not play on the franchise tag and hold out. Now, when you look at the running back position, the truth of the matter is this. You pay running backs for work they've already done, not for work that they're going to do, and that's the situation that Barkley's in right now.
Yeah, it's definitely a tough spot for both sides. Running backs feel like they're undervalued, and teams don't want to pay out those big contracts. And Corey makes a great point here. Wow, what did I just say? Corey makes a great point here. Holy cow. But it is true. You need to pay a running back for what he's done. But for the same token, Saquon Barkley's only done it for one season. The Giants can't be held hostage here. I get it. You want to get that deal done. You need to get that deal done. Barkley is the top guy, and the offense doesn't work without him. But the franchise can't sit there and get caught up in a big deal and have to overpay for something that, a guy who's been banged up throughout his career. There are guys available on the open market, so it's going to be a standoff, but Barkley plays this year.
I think the Giants have to have Saquon Barkley this year. Look at Daniel Jones. He's just not that great. You need to have that threat in the backfield to be able to take the pressure off of Jones. This offense will not work without Barkley. You could sign Kareem Hunt, Leonard Fournette, Ezekiel Elliott. It's just not going to go anywhere. The Giants are in a bad spot here and a pressure cooker in New York. I think this deal will get done. I'm hopeful no franchise tag. I think if you give him some incentives that he can hit, get him up to 13.5 average million per year to get him over Joe Mixon and Henry and Aaron Jones and Chubb and Dalvin Cook. He's not going to make $16 million on Christian McCaffrey. He has to understand that. But Amazon money is coming in 2024. Give him a solid deal this year. Load him up next year. Make sure you have your horse in the backfield.
I gotta disagree and say you could sign all these other guys and it's not going to get it done. It is going to get it done. It really is. Barkley's incredibly talented. I'm not going to, take that away from him. But you can't have the franchise get held hostage with it. And guys like Leonard Fournette, Kareem Hunt, Dalvin Cook, even like these guys can slot in for 1 year. I'm not saying that, you're going to get the be all end all, but I don't think that this offense doesn't work without Barkley. It works better with Barkley, but it'll still work without him.
I think you got to have the speed and the lightning bolt back there to be able to take it to the house any single time that he gets the ball. And it's, like I said, just not enough out of Daniel Jones in this receiving core. That's going to take some time to come together. The guys like Paris Campbell and Jalen Hyatt on there. It's not just going to be this awesome passing game from day one. They need that rock that could take it to the house in the backfield. And you got to pay for it, New York.
But they've also been using Paris Campbell in OTAs as a running back. So they're already preparing and getting him ready for the situation. It's going to be gross, but they're already coming up with contingencies is what I'm saying. So if they've got a plan in place where they're thinking that it's not going to get done, they're going to find a way to make this work. It might not be the most efficient way to make it work, but it's going to get done and they're going to do something with it.
The bottom line of the matter is elite young running backs get paid. Who's going to be the highest paid running back in the NFL this year? Bijan Robinson at $13 million. So there you go right there. Running backs have to get their money in the beginning of their career.
Unless you're Christian McCaffrey.
Well, and it's
he's
so
a
hard
weapon, though, because of what he can do out the backfield. So he's not a traditional running back, but Matt is right. When you can, for example, Tony Pollard will get signed before Saquon Barkley will.
Yeah.
And he's already signed his franchise tag, so there's no like butting heads and, oh, I'm not going to play. There's no ego involved. So I think in a way that makes it easier to get a deal done as well.
Our NFL preview by divisions continues, and today we take a look at the NFC West, a division that features a comeback player of the year in Geno Smith, a 49ers team that lost their QB in week 2, and the worst year coming off of a Super Bowl win in the Rams. And the Cardinals, don't let me get started. The 49ers are favored to win the division at a -160, with the Seahawks at a +210, the Rams at +1,000, and last and certainly least, the Cardinals at +2,700. Corey, will it be a cakewalk for the 49ers, as you were talking about Christian McCaffrey, or do you have a team that could beat out the Niners?
So let me get this right. The Niners are -160 to win their division, the same odds as the Kansas City Chiefs. The Kansas City Chiefs have Patrick Mahomes. The Niners got Sam Darnold, Trey Lance, and Brock Purdy. I understand it's the most quarterback-friendly system in the NFL, but let's be realistic. The best team in the NFC West is the Seattle Seahawks, and they're going to win the division this year. We've seen what Geno Smith has become in this system. He listened to Pete Carroll, and he became the comeback player of the year. He didn't shun Pete Carroll like Russell Wilson did. Now you add Smith and Jigba to go with Lockett and DK Metcalf. You got a stout running game. The defense needs to get better. But as long as San Francisco is up in the air at quarterback like this, the Seahawks will win the NFC West. That's easy money right there.
Yeah, I don't know if I can sign on for another year, Geno Smith. I think what happened last year with Seattle is absolutely fantastic. Is that going to be the true transition for that team's offense? Shane Waldron came in as the offensive coordinator, but this is still Pete Carroll's team, and Pete Carroll still loves to run the ball as much as he loves to chomp on gum. Geno Smith had, the 6th most passing attempts in the NFL? When was the last time a Pete Carroll team did that? So if Seattle is going to continue with this transition, well, then, yeah, okay, I think that they can do it. But, we need to see Kenneth Walker's health. And I think we need to see, what Zach Charbonnet can do in the NFL. I still tilt towards the 49ers because, as we just saw, any quarterback can work that system. Darnold, Lance, or Purdy. Doesn't matter.
This is the least competitive division in the NFL. It will be a cakewalk for San Francisco. They could have me back there at quarterback. If you have Kyle Shanahan calling plays, the rest of the NFL is just trailing behind. Kyle's the best play caller in football. Got a good offensive line. He's got the best running back in football. It just doesn't matter who's at quarterback. We've seen this team go very far without a signal caller. The defense got better with the signing of Hargrave on the defensive line. I've tried every scenario finding a way for the San Francisco 49ers to not win the NFC West. Forget about Arizona, the Colt McCoy story. They just don't have any personnel. The Rams, even if Stafford plays all 17 games, I just can't see it. Their defense is just not good enough. Seattle, defense, not good enough. Offense is okay, but unless Kyle Shanahan gets the 4-month flu, it's the Niners in a cakewalk.
I wouldn't say that it's a cakewalk when you consider that they don't even know who their starting quarterback is. But yes, they do have the most complete roster. They have the best offensive line, one of the best offensive lines in football. They have a great defense. Having Christian McCaffrey is just a cheat code. But when you're talking about laying money down, I think I would go with the Seahawks. I think they did a lot to improve their offense by getting Jackson Smith and Jigba and Zach Charbonnet, but their defense ranked 25th in points last season. They didn't do a ton to shore that up, except with the addition of Devon Witherspoon, but they did bring back Bobby Wagner. They added Devin Bush, and then Jordan Brooks should be back. So I think their running game and their running defense should be a lot better. The Rams, obviously not laying money on them with their defense, and then the Cardinals just can't do that. But I'd be willing to lay a little bit of money on Seattle.
You know, what I find interesting is the talk of the greatness of Shanahan. How did the San Francisco 49ers season end last year?
They didn't have a quarterback on their roster.
I thought Shanahan was the quarterback whisperer. I thought he's the guy that can make any quarterback work. They was complaining all offseason. We didn't have a quarterback. So there you go.
I think you know what? Had Shanahan turned around and actually made McCaffrey the quarterback and just let that go, I think that would have actually helped them win that game. I mean, it was crazy the way it was. I mean, to see everybody go down like that, you hate to see a team go down in flames like that as they rifle through their quarterback depth chart, in one fell swoop like that. So, I mean, listen, if you look at, and Matt's right, you can put any one of these QBs in there right now. Darnold, Lance, Purdy, these guys can run that offense. These guys can get with. What?
Lance can't play. Lance can't play.
Okay,
right.
then give it to Darnold or Purdy for the time being right now. Listen, Sam Darnold is not a terrible QB. Does he have shortcomings? Yes, he does. But if you're putting him into a system that's very quarterback friendly, like it is for San Francisco, he can be given the tools to succeed. The bottom line is put the ball into your playmakers' hands. That's what Kyle Shanahan does. That's why McCaffrey touches the ball all the time. That's why he has Debo running out of the backfield. That's why he has Kittle running that seam route. That's why he's got Brandon Ayuk doing all that. All he says to his quarterback is, you are giving the ball to your playmakers, get it into their hands as fast as you can, and let us do the rest. And that's what we've got right now for San Fran.
Plus, Corey, Shanahan may not be great in the playoffs, but the question here is to get to the playoffs, to win the division. We know Shanahan has shortcomings in the big game, but he's going to get there because that's what he does in the regular season.
See, nobody likes your Seattle call, Corey, so just shut up.
When it happens, and just come back and say, Corey was right.
I think that if Purdy is the starter, teams were kind of thrown off because there was no game tape on him last year. And now that they do have some tape to scheme against him, he might not be the best option. And then they might kind of waffle back and forth between starters like we've seen in the past. If that happens, I think that Seattle takes it.
And what happens when Geno Smith goes back to remembering that he's Geno Smith, that he is still a journeyman quarterback, that he had a great year last year because guess what? No one saw it coming. Britt, you just made that point about Brock Purdy. Nobody had tape on him. Nobody saw it coming. Nobody saw this coming from Geno Smith last year. Now we've seen Geno Smith in a full season.
14 years of tape on him, Howard. What are you talking about?
Nobody's got tape on Geno Smith.
And you got him another weapon in JSN, and he's not throwing to a litany of backup journeyman tight ends either. So I think he's going to have a better season just because of that added legitimate wide receiver three.
Throw to the tight end. What are you talking about here? How many times in fantasy did everybody say, "Oh yeah, we got Will Dissly, we got Noah Fant, we got all of these great tight ends coming in and out of this Seattle City." It's all about their wide receivers, and if Geno doesn't step up and play exactly, and he has to play that's the thing. He has to play exactly at that level that he played at last year. And you're telling me Geno's going to put that in 2 years in a row? I don't think so.
All right, guys, we cannot go our 4th of July episode without talking about America's pastime, baseball. The starters have been selected for the upcoming MLB All-Star Game. All that's left is choosing the starting pitchers. Who do you think deserves to get the honor of starting for the National League in the Midsummer Classic? Howard, you are up first.
Oh, see, you know what? I'm just gonna right off the bat here. I'm just gonna take the wind right out of Britt Flynn's sails, and I'm gonna say, out of all of these pitchers that you've got, you got to give the honors to Clayton Kershaw. It means something to him. This is his 10th All-Star game. Listen, if it were me, I'd give it to Zach Gallen because I love Zach Gallen. I think he's pitching beautifully, and he's a huge, huge part as to why the Diamondbacks are actually in a spot where they are right now. But Gallen, Mitch Keller, Justin Steele, Spencer Strider, they're all great. They're all first-timers here. Clayton Kershaw, the elder statesman, doing what he's been doing all of this time. You got to give him the honors here for his 10th All-Star game and celebrate that nice anniversary for him, this year.
Kershaw's hurt. It might be a nice story, of course, to give him the honor. He's not going to take the hill and start the All-Star game. That's going to be Zach Gallen, the best pitcher in the National League this year. Spencer Strider's got the sexy strikeouts, but Gallen's got him beaten out in ERA, in WHIP, in WAR, in less walks. Yes, he does not have the strikeouts. They both have 10 wins. They both have the same amount of quality starts. I think Zach Gallen's been the best pitcher all year, the most innings pitched. A wonderful story in Arizona. Let's get Gallen on the mound for the senior circuit in the All-Star game.
Yeah, I was going to say, as much as I want to say Kershaw, it broke last night that he's been placed on the IL and he's not going to do anything. It's a great story, but kind of a bummer. I'm going to double down on what I said yesterday about the Braves and say that it actually should be Spencer Strider. He's a strikeout master. The Strider slider has a 57.4% whiff rate. I mean, his ERA admittedly isn't the best of the bunch, but it's the All-Star game. We want to see some home runs. We want to see some offensive action. But I think seeing people, all these all-star hitters, try to master his Strider slider is going to be crazy. And I think it could be a preview of what we can expect going into the World Series against some of these really good batters if the Braves, and when the Braves, make the World Series.
The Strider slider, I haven't heard that one yet. I guess for this, I'm going to basically kind of echo a little bit of what everybody has been saying so far. The Kershaw story would be nice, but it's hurt now and doesn't really deserve it because Zach Gallen has been the best pitcher in the National League so far this season. He has, 76% of the games he started have been wins for a Diamondback team people thought was going to finish in last place. One of the main reasons why they're there so far this season. And then when you look at, the fact that he doesn't have the strikeouts, Strider has had some poor outings so far this season. Gallen has been the most consistent. He came out the gate hot. He continues it. It's only right that he starts for the All-Star game.
Won't be easy to keep Strider out of there with that mustache. Everybody wants to see that thing on the mound. And, of course, Strider versus Ohtani. That's probably the matchup we all want to see. But I think it's going to be Gallen. So look at fielding, independent pitching, even that metric. Gallen's got Strider beat there. I think he's just been a little bit stronger. Great year for Strider. He will be in the World Series, Britt. I think the Braves do take it. He could be the MVP, but I think this is Gallen's show.
I think what you do is you honor Clayton Kershaw. You just say, you know what, Kershaw is the starter, and then let him bow out of the All-Star game and say he's not playing because he's injured. I mean, listen, the All-Star game is not about competition. The All-Star game is about pomp and circumstance. It's about recognizing these players for doing what they've done, and to not recognize Kershaw because he's hurt right now and not recognize what he's done through the first half of the season, I think is wrong. I think you can just give him the honors and then let him bow out because he's hurt, and then you turn it over to Zach Gallen. I'm fine with Gallen over Strider. I'm fine with Gallen over Steele. I think Gallen over Keller. I think that's definitely the way you should do it. But the All-Star game is not about anything more than just acknowledging what these guys have done for the first day. Because the starting pitcher is going to throw what? He's going to throw one inning. He's not going to do anything more than that. So, really, I mean, what are we doing but just giving an honor here?
It's a contract negotiation thing, too. You can say that I started the All-Star game.
Yeah, I was supposed to start the All-Star game, but I was hurt.
And if you look at Corey, you said that Kershaw hadn't been as good as Gallen and the other guys, but if you look at his numbers in June, he put up a 106 ERA during the month of June. I mean,
I mean, the season started.
Is that
in
not
April.
impressive? Is that not
the
impressive?
Season started
Though?
in April, Britt.
And he still has a 2.55
He had
ERA.
to get warmed up. I like my guys to come into the season ready to go.
Yeah, I don't want to sit there and just say like just June, because if it's just June, then what the hell is Brett Rooker still doing on the All-Star team in the American League? Because that guy came out like a hot knife through butter for the first 2 months, and then you look at what he did in June, and he was like in the toilet. It was absolutely atrocious, and yet he still got in there over Esteury Ruiz. Like that's what I'm saying. This isn't, this whole thing, the All-Star game, it's a show. It's a dog and pony show. There's no meaning behind it. There's nothing here but just, hey, great job, guys. Thanks so much for doing what you did. Come hang out with all the other top players in the league. Enjoy yourself for a weekend and then get back to business here. I mean, playing in the All-Star game is nothing more than just, it's like it's like the royal family in England. It's just figureheads. There's nothing else to it.
Well, and that's why Ruiz didn't get in, because he's not a home run ball hitter. Like, he's great at stolen bases, but as far as homers go, he's got what, 1 or 2?
And stolen bases are all the rage this year. So why not honor them? Why not, accentuate that?
Because people want to see batters go yard, and they don't want people to get injured. And they don't want people to get injured trying to steal bases.
Well, that's what they've got the home run. They've got the home run derby for that. That's why you specifically have the home run derby. You know what? Give me a base stealing contest then. You've got all these you got skills competitions in the NHL. You got these stupid quarterback challenges during Pro Bowl week. Why not make like a base stealing contest there and show off what something like that can actually mean to the game?
Can you imagine how
because everybody knows it's coming if it's a competition. Part of stealing bases is the sneaky part of it. That's why you can't have a competition for base stealing.
Well, you know what?
I like you're trying, Howard. I like it.
Come on, it's 4th of July. I just want to argue with somebody, please.
All right, it's finally here. What we've all been waiting for. Howard, can I get a drum roll, please? Nathan's hot dog eating contest. Approximately 35,000 fans attend the spectacle and has become another America's pastime. If you enter a food eating competition, Bettor Boss, what would you choose to eat?
I think everybody's had that dream, not of starting the All-Star game, but sitting there in front of a plate of hot dogs on July 4th. Actually, hot dogs probably the least attractive thing for me to go competitive eating. I've been thinking about what I could do best. It might be Peeps, but I think somebody else has the Peeps title. So I'll take it away. I'm going to go to chicken nuggets, crispy on the outside, tender and juicy on the inside. You don't have to eat them one at a time either. I've tried this before. These things go down like water. I think I could eat more chicken nuggets than just about anybody out there. No dipping sauce needed. Just let me go. Chicken nuggets on July 4th. What's more American than that?
You know what's more American than that is chicken wings that originated in Buffalo, the buffalo wing. So I'm going to go with wings, but they'd have to be flats and they have to be extra crispy because I can't deal with the slime. I've got a technique to keep my fingers from getting dirty and eat the entire wing all in one bite, and I would destroy everybody. It's no competition. Get some ranch because I'm in the South and there's not any room for blue cheese here, and some spicy hot sauce, and it's over for you fools. A close second would have to be some authentic carnitas tacos with extra cilantro and onions. I'd eat those guys in one bite. I don't even, no salsa, no anything. Shove some Mexican food in my face. It's over for you guys.
Yeah, I'm going to have to go with Britt on this one. I think, if you want to do the competitive eating thing, Matt nails it. A hot dog's not a good thing to competitive eat. They could just sit in your stomach for the rest of the day. I'm surprised these guys don't go straight to the doctor afterwards. And do they still have this thing in Coney Island? If so, watch your pocket on your way out there. With that being said, the chicken wing.
Thanks, Grandpa.
The child, you got to be careful. The chicken wing is the event. Is what I would choose, and I think I would do pretty well. You know what I'm saying? I like chicken. I like chicken wings. I like ranch. I like hot sauce. So I think I do a pretty good job of knocking down some chicken wings. I definitely would not even consider competitively eating. I couldn't even tell you the last time I had a hot dog.
I think it's a tough thing with the chicken wing. How do you know when it's completed? There's a little bit of meat on the bone, Britt. You got to clean that thing off all the way. We got to now judge how much chicken was taken off of the bone. Who wants that job to go through all of Corey Parsons' chicken wings and say, like, oh, this one still got some meat on the bone? I think the boneless chicken tenders is the way to go. Gummy bears, close second.
I think the three of you are absolutely adorable. To even remotely think that the three of you have any kind of a chance at a competitive eating contest against me. All right. I will out eat all of you on any food, as long as it's not shellfish because I'm allergic and then I will die. Nevertheless, it doesn't matter whether it's chicken wings, chicken nuggets. I saw Sellers put donuts into the chat. Listen, I'll tell you where you want to go. You want to talk competitive eating? Let's go back to the 1967 classic film, Cool Hand Luke. 50 eggs. No man can eat 50 eggs. You give me 50 eggs to eat in a competition, and I will happily take all of you guys down. Scramble them, fry them, poach them, whatever you want to do. I will destroy you all in any competition, but let's go with the Cool Hand Luke egg style contest here, and I will crush.
50 hard-boiled eggs, Howard?
50 eggs, baby. Bring them. Come on.
Let's just make sure that there's a good ventilation system after 50 eggs.
Oh, I've got a good ventilation system. The rest of you, though, I'm sorry.
I'll take that bet, not to beat you, but that you could even put those things down. That's a lot of eggs, Howard. I've seen you do amazing things. I don't know if you could pull this one off.
Really? Challenge accepted. Let's do it. Let's build that show, huh? Come on.
So I want to go back to what Matt said about how to get all the meat off the bones on a flat. That's why they specifically have to be flats. You take both hands, and then you put them in and you pull it, and it takes all the meat off in one fell swoop.
So if they bring the legs out, Britt, then it's all the contest over. You can only do flats.
Well, yeah, because that's my system.
Okay.
I haven't developed a system for the drums. Yeah, I'm not a beaver.
Howard, I'm really concerned that you're going to have to go to the doctor to get a cholesterol check after all those eggs.
Yeah, for real, Howard.
Who cares? Please, I'll do it and just put me in the ground. Listen, I've been doing this for a long, long time here. You know what? If that's the way I'm going to go, then that's the way I'm going to go.
Howard, you ain't no spring chicken. Be careful with all them eggs like that. It's gluttonous, Howard.
Gluttony is my middle name, Corey. Come on.
All right, that was today's edition of A Better Morning. Thank you to Corey, Howard, Britt, and our guy, Matt Deutsch. Make sure you check out Moose and Keith at 10 a.m. Eastern. Also, if you missed any of our BSN content, check it out on demand at bettersports.com or on our YouTube page. We wish everyone a better 4th of July. Take care.